In the previous video, we have overridden the configure method available inside Spring Security to customize and provide user details as per our requirement. And at the same time, we also configured multiple users with the name admin user along with their authorities. Now, with this configuration, we don't need these credentials mentioned in the application.properties because they are obsolete now. The reason is Spring Security always consider these users as a first priority. If we don't customize this method, then it will go and look for the credentials in the application.properties. I want to show you other way on how we can provide and customize user details to Spring Security in this video. So for that, first let's comment the method that we have written previously. And now we have the same method overridden but in a different manner. Previously, we used in-memory authentication. Now instead of that, I am trying to use a in-memory user details manager which by default provided by the Spring Security whenever we want to store the user details inside memory of our application. So in this scenario, in-memory user details manager is an implementation of user details which I will use inside this method. Once we initialize that, we have to build the users that we want to build for our application. If you see, previously I was saying we have user details and user details services, all such interfaces, classes available inside our security. We will be discussing about all these in detail in the coming videos, but for now, you can understand that using user we call with username method where we pass the username, password and authority details, and calling build on this code will give the user details associated with this user. Similarly, we are building another user called user1 with the details user, password and authorities as read. Both the users we have to pass to the user detail service by calling create user. So since I have declared two users here, I have to pass both of them to create user two times. Post that I have to set this user details service which is of in-memory user details manager inside my user detail service of authentication manager builder. With this, it will be work similarly like we have seen in the previous video. But only thing right now here missing is password encoder. Let's try to see what will happen if you don't have any password encoder whenever we try to customize users as per our requirements. So I'm saving this configuration, going to Spring Boot starter class, starting the server. The server starts perfectly. Now I'm clearing the console to see what error that we get. I'm calling my account, and since it's a secure, it is redirect to login page and asking my credentials. I will enter valid credentials admin 12345. You can see that we have an error thrown, and the details of the error is no password encoder mapped. That means Spring Security Framework always will expect a password encoder to be mapped for our custom user details that we have configured. To resolve this error, let's stop the server and go to our configuration class. Here we have to create a bean of type password encoder, and I am returning no password encoder as the type for this bean. Here my Spring Security, since it's a find a bean of type password encoder, it takes this as a default password encoder that it has to assume for these user details custom configurations that we have done here. So with this error, we should have solved that exception. Let's try to start our application again and go to our my account. This time I'm entering admin 12345 and we got an response, successful response. Similarly, we can see the same response using the other credentials user that we have defined. Let's see that one also. Now I'm entering the details of user followed by his password, which is 12345. Now we got the successful response. With this, we also learned other way of defining our users and overriding the default implementation of user detail service along with the password encoder passing to it. So we have seen total two ways. One is by using the in-memory authentication, which is of like some people may feel like I'm not able to understand what is happening here. But if you want to have some clear code, I would always recommend you to use in-memory user details manager, where we first define the users and pass them to user detail service, which will be eventually fed to authentication manager builder. And we also have been created of type password encoder for this custom user details implementation that we have done here in this class. Thank you and see you in the next video. Bye.